psychiatrist, so let's see if these are things that I would or would not want you to know. For context, my name is Dr. Brooke, and this corner of the internet is called Cook with Dr. Brooke, where I talk about the connection between nutrition and mental health. I practice psychiatry, where I mostly prescribe medications, but I've completed some extra training in nutrition, so I also incorporate some nutritional concepts into my practice. The person we're reacting to here is Dr. Kendra, MD, who also did psychiatry training, went to medical school, did psychiatry residency, did kind of traditional psychiatry before becoming a holistic psychiatrist. So she's going to apparently be letting some industry secrets out. Let's see what they are. Excuse the outfit change, but my audio didn't work. So going back through and reacting to these industry secrets that Dr. Kendra, MD, is revealing to the public that we don't want you to know about. The first secret being that the root cause of most mental illness is trauma, not a chemical imbalance. I believe with parts of this, so we know that the whole chemical imbalance theory was more of a marketing tool than actually biologically what's happening in brains. So in commercials for antidepressants, they'll say, oh, it's not you, it's a chemical imbalance, so just take this pill and you'll feel better. It's not so much that your brain isn't making any serotonin or has too much norepinephrine or GABA or glutamate or whatever. It's not so much that that is out of balance most of the time. It's more that different neural networks in your brain, how different parts of your brain talk to each other, kind of your thought patterns. Those thought patterns get dysregulated. Those neural networks are not firing and coordinating together in the most appropriate, helpful way. So when we prescribe medications which do affect chemicals and neurotransmitters, we prescribe those medications to change some of the neurochemistry in your brain to help rewire those circuits. So it's not so much that you are deficient in something, more that we are trying to support your brain's kind of circuitry in healing itself. So while the whole chemical imbalance thing is a bit of an oversimplification that is probably stemming from antidepressant marketing, I wouldn't say that the root cause of most mental illness is trauma, not a chemical imbalance. We know that most mental illness is biopsychosocial, so there's a biologic component. What are those circuits doing? What is your family history like your genetics? Have you had any head injuries? Do you consume a recreational substance that maybe increases your anxiety or makes you more prone to depression? These are all biological things happening. We know that trauma is also huge and it can cause certain conditions. It can exacerbate others. But to tell people that it's not chemistry, it's just trauma, I feel is a bit disingenuous. It also conflicts with what she talks about in the next chunk, which is magnesium can effectively treat depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Again, I agree with parts of this. There is evidence for the use of magnesium in a lot of mental health conditions, including the ones she listed, but magnesium is a chemical. So in the last part, we were just talking about how it's not a chemical imbalance, but here is a chemical medication to help you feel better or to treat those conditions. But if those conditions aren't a chemical imbalance, which again, they're not, but then why would you give a chemical for it? I just feel this is very contradictory. Some people are going to say, well, magnesium is natural. That's natural. That's not a medication. That's not a prescription. So I'd rather do that. You know what else is natural? Lithium. Lithium is a salt. We mine it out of the earth. It's an element on the periodic table, just like magnesium. We don't make it in a lab. And we know that it is an effective treatment for a lot of mental health conditions, a lot of psychiatric conditions. We don't prescribe it lightly. It has a lot of side effects, and it's not something that I go to as a first-line option. But I just wanted to point that out because I feel so far the messaging is avoid medications. That's not the answer. But then it's also talking about magnesium, which is a medication. And it's not really all that dissimilar from some of the prescriptions that we use all the time. So I just flagged that as being a little contradictory and maybe not the message that I am giving my patients. Following that one up with exercise is just as effective as antidepressants. So not perfectly effective. I mean, I really like exercise. There is evidence showing that it can be really helpful in depression, but it's not one size fits all. It does not work for everybody. It doesn't work 100% of the time, alleviating all symptoms. Correctly saying, oh, it's just as effective as antidepressants, which are also not perfect, which also don't work 100% of the time, which for most people don't get them from 0 to 100. We should be talking about lifestyle efforts. We should be talking about non-pharmacologic treatment options. But when I'm talking about those things, it's usually in addition to medications. I mean, for some people, Like exercise might be the option, but for a lot of people, it's not. And then they're going to feel like a failure because they've been running every day or they've been doing yoga and they still feel like crap. For a lot of people, taking medications gives them the mood, energy, motivation boost to go to the gym, to get outside, to do all those other good things. And since these are all like hopefully helpful but still imperfect treatment options, it's good to have it all, to be talking about medication options, what are the risks and benefits of that, to be talking about exercise, like what are the possible benefits, what are the barriers to getting there. They can all complement each other. And then let's round it out with it's possible to heal your ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, and bipolar, and we can teach you how. We are on the same page that it is possible to heal. It is possible to get better. Even if you feel like you've tried so many things already or that you've been going through this forever, I don't want you to give up hope. There are a lot of pharmacologic treatment options that you can talk about with your psychiatrist. There are non-pharmacologic treatment options. On this channel, we talk about the connection between nutrition and mental health. So if that's something that you want to learn more about and be incorporating into your treatment plan, then you should be following along. So were these a bunch of things that like your psychiatrist doesn't want you to know? No. While I agree with some kind of flavors and some sentiments in this post, there were a lot of things that I really think were kind of contradictory or not super accurate. And I know we're all just trying to get clicks and engagement, and saying, oh, your psychiatrist doesn't want you to know this is very enticing. But just so you know, we're busy. We have wait lists. There is nothing I am trying to like keep from my patients as like a secret or withhold from them so that they like stay sick, so that they keep coming back to see me. I don't need the work. There's a long line of people waiting to see me. My appointments are shorter than I'd like them to be because I'm trying to fit everybody in. If there is anything that I learn along the way about other ways to help with psychiatric conditions, about new treatment options, about alternative resources, I'm going to share those things because I want my patients to get better, because that's why I went to medical school. So I'm not hiding anything from you if you're on my patient panel, and I don't think your psychiatrist is either.